that's the introduction section to a piece I wrote called So Long. And I wrote it a long time ago. It was one of the first pieces I'd ever written in this style of tapping guitar. And that introduction section that I just played for you is available on my website. And if you want, go run out there to the website now and download this PDF of it and print it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through it together. Assuming you might have done that already, and you're ready for a little online lesson with Billy. Let's take a look at the tablature. This thing is written out in both standard notation and in tablature. And what we're going to do is you can see, both hands are on the neck, but I'd like to take just the right hand. For me, it's my right hand. It's your left hand. It's your melody hand. And I want to isolate the very first three-note grouping because this melody really presents itself in three-note groupings at a time. As you look at your tab, what's the first thing you see on that tablature? You see a number 6, followed by a 7, followed by a 0. And that's happening on the third line down from the top, so that's your third string, your G string. And actually, before we get to that, let's do this. Let's make sure that we're all in tune together because this is really going to help you out. I'm going to take a second to do this. I'm going to play my first string 4 times, then I'm going to move to my second string. I'm going to go down each one. And I'm tuned almost in standard. I've got drop D on the low E string. So if you know how to do that already, go ahead and drop your E down to D, but let's zero in together then. So here we go. I'm going to just give you some tones. This is going to be a lot of fun. That's your high E. Going to go to B now. Just get it close, do it quick. On to G. Moving to the 4th. Now A, your 5th string. And we're going to follow that now with what would have been your E string. It's down to D. That's the first. Yep. That's your 6th string. But this is the first quote-unquote altered tuning that I ever experimented with. What's great about it is that it's going to allow us to play what are basically, power chords. You rockers out there, we're able to play power chords with our bass hand. But let's back up. Let's go back to those melody groupings for a second now. So the first one that you're going to see goes like this. It's 6 on the 3rd string, which is a C sharp if you're looking at your notation, followed by 7, 6, 7, and then it's followed by an open. And what I want you to do is I want you to locate that 6, okay, everybody, and we're going to use our second finger on that in our melody hand. Now I want you to do 2 hammer-ons in a row, second finger, followed by 3rd finger. And what did you see happen when my 3rd finger came down to play that 7? It went 6, 7, and the second finger lifted. That's a really critical thing to be sure you do because the next note is an open. And if you'd left that finger down and tried to pull that off, you would have ended up with another 6, and we don't want that. We want it to sound like C sharp, D, down to that G, natural. Kind of a strange melody to start with. And what's that followed by? The next 3-note grouping is going to be 5. You're going to play a 5 on your 2nd string, which is an E, followed by a 7 on your 2nd string, which is an F sharp. And that's going to be followed by an open B. So to put the 2 groups together, all right, do that again. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 1, 2, follow me, go. 1. I'm counting that downbeat. Ready, go, 1. All right, now what happens after that? Let's take a look at the tab. So we've got the first 2 groupings, followed by the next 2 groupings, which look awfully familiar, right? You've seen that 6/7 before. That's going to be followed by a little different movement now. This is going to be a 4-note grouping. Is very familiar, but what did I do this time? I left that 5 on the 2nd string down because it's going to be followed, that F sharp, the 7 is going to be followed by another 5 and then an open. Let's try that. We've been finger exchanging so far. This feels a little different. Okay? From the top, it's going to sound like this. And that repeats. Now, if we just isolate that much for today, one critical thing I want you to try to do is get your eyes off of the guitar as quickly as you can. And I'll show you there's a big reason why. If you can play this, can we all try to do this? Let's do this together without looking at the neck of the guitar. Okay, get yourself situated with 2nd finger, 3rd string, 6th fret. 1, 2, ready, go, 1. Now you're staying in one position, so this should be pretty easy. As the piece develops, you'll be moving all over the neck of the guitar, but for starters, if you're not used to looking away from the neck or closing your eyes, the critical point here is that we're going to add the bass note now. And the bass note, when you raise your bass note hand in to play this bass note at the 2nd fret to start the piece, I've just now covered up my line of vision. I can't see this hand over here now, can I? I've covered it up. So I need you to be able to play that melody without watching, because you're not going to be able to see that hand anyhow. So let's get used to it. That bass note, as you can see on the tab, is listed as 2s right across the bottom 3 strings. You can hear that. What I'm doing to get this to happen is I'm putting my thumb down behind the neck. Don't try to do this with your thumb up in the air. You won't have any stability. Set that thumb down, anchor that thumb, and really all you're doing is another hammer-on with your other hand. In your case, it's your right hand. So that's what that bass note sounds like. And I'm going to put these 2 together, and what we're going to get is bass note first, and then the melody. So it's going to be... hear me striking that root note again. You can see on the tab it happens again when you come back to play that melody at the 6th fret on the 3rd string. The second time you do that, you're going to add another bass note. So here's the pattern one more time. At a little quicker tempo. Again. Okay, listen, that's all we have time for today, but as you can see, the next thing that's going to happen, that bass note's going to come off and you're going to get some real familiar 3-note groupings in that melody. So I want you to spend a little time with your tablature. We're going to come back and try to follow up with the B section of this main melody to So Long the next time we get together.